So first question, we'll start with you, Jack, here, and we'll go just around the horn here. Just describe in general how you teach and kind of ID the stretch play, running back alignment, aiming point, and just kind of the base footwork and tempo you teach your O-linemen.
Yeah, so this is such a landmark-driven play for me, all right? And, when we describe this play, it's a dominant downhill run. Like, it's not a negative yardage play for us. I believe in that. I've always believed in that. Again, getting back to landmark specifically, we tell the running back it is the crack of the ghost tight end, all right, is his aiming point. And then for the offensive line perspective, how I've been coached, how I will teach it, and how we're teaching it, the landmark is the outside armpit, all right? And again, we are always trying to press that outside armpit as our landmark, all right? And we're always fighting for that, whether it's at the first level or second level for us. The play design, though, is very important for us to be speed off the ball, all right? Speed off the ball, that's a huge coaching point for us. And at the end of the day, at its basis, Neal, we are trying to stretch the front side, and eliminate the backside. Obviously, that is, mindful of the rules as far as being able to cut at the second level. So there's a little bit of different nuances where we're trying to game plan it based off our personnel. But again, at the end of the day, we're trying to stretch the front side, eliminate the backside, and making sure it's a no negative yardage play, a dominant downhill run. And you got to have confidence in it because, again, it's a high investment. But if your guys know that and you're really drilling it every day, as we all know, it's one of the most explosive run plays. There's a reason why the NFL still runs it because of that feature where the gaps are constantly moving.
Love it. Thanks, Jack. Devin, go ahead, man. Anything different? Anything you want to add to kind of how you teach the play?
No, I mean, pretty much the same thing. But for me, we kind of like to run it to the tight end. So his landmark is to the outside armpit of the tight end. But for me up front, I mean, we're treating it the same. We do it with the running back aligned away from the play, or we'll do running back to the play, and we'll do a jet sweep with it. So either way, it's the same for us up front. But my first step is going to be just like outside zone. It's going to be a big bucket step. And then I'm trying to get my second step in the ground and work to that outside shoulder. And the biggest thing for us is I tell my guys, hey, we're not trying to reach him now. We're trying to work through that shoulder, try to get leverage on him, and then secure that block. And for the running back, we're telling him, hey, but your landmark is the outside armpit of the tight end, but you're reading his block, right? So if he has somebody outside of him, outside leverage of him, and he washes them out, you got to cut up. But if not, then you're trying to just beat them to the edge and get as many yards as you can. But for us, man, it's simple up front. We're just trying to just eat grass up and get out that outside shoulder secure.
Love it. Anything different, you, Kleff?
Yeah, I mean, from a kind of overall core principles, right? I mean, I think a big thing, kind of what piggybacking off what Jack said, is like if you're teaching, I've ran more, outside zone and stretch. If we're speaking those as the same play, it's running a 40-yard dash off the football as fast as you can possibly go on that aiming point you can get, right? If you're coaching a third grader to a third-year player in college, I think the most important thing you can tell them to do is run. Now, there's some intricacies, right? Let's just say we're a left tackle, we're in an outside zone left, right? And if I have help or not, that might change some of my fits. We might get in that a little bit. But end of the day, saying what the other guys have said, my screws in my helmet, right, are attacking that play side of armpit. And really, if you're putting this thing in a big family in my mind, right, the core principle is we want to get horizontal displacement and then get vertical movement and create run seams for the back, right? And I think we'll get to a little bit later on how you want to attack front you're seeing versus what formations and all the intricacies that go into back set. And, if we want to run it close, open side, if we're running those check systems, but end of the day, we're running out the football, get the defense playing sideline to sideline, and then strike. And then working the running back's rule on how he's going to read that thing from outside in off of how that end man line of scrimmage plays it, and then create that seam and hit that thing for a big home run.
Love it. Thanks, Cliff. Anything you want to add, Alik?
Pretty similar to Coach Jack. Like we have the same system where it's basically to the crack of the tight end. And like if we do run into a 3-man service, then it becomes the crack of the butt of the tight end. Kind of favor both. And we're a little bit of the same thing. We call it chasing the pit. Everything landmark wise for the offensive line is going to be chasing the place at our pit. We always say chase the place at our pit, whether that's the first level defender, second level defender, third level defender. We just try to get our guys to understand and marry. You now have to mirror the path of the back. So now because the running back is going to be moving a little wider, we like to say mirror the shoulders of the running back. So if the running back shoulder is going to be a little bit more turned on outside zone, yours should be almost similar. And I think we kind of vary ours a little bit more where stretch, like Coach Kleffner was saying, stretch is more like getting out and running. Our outside zone, a little bit more wide zone. We don't really stretch as much because ours isn't like an outside hitting play. We'll do some things depending on who we play that week. If it's an outside hitter and he's trying to keep his outside arm free, we're going to stretch and puncture that bad, baby. If it's a guy that he ends up playing inside, then we'll get outside of it. So there's some things you can do and maneuver it with, whether it be pistol, offset, like Coach Bice said, like same side as well. You can do some things with some eye candy too to give yourself some leverage to help those blocks, because that's the hardest deal. You know what I'm pretty sure we'll get into it. That backside double team, when that backside backer knows his outside zone and your guys got inside zone shoulders, you're like, God dang, he ain't gonna get there.